Hey, it's Mikey here again. I'm going to show you how to install a JB4 on an M235i. In my case, it's a 2015 rear-wheel drive automatic. You don't have to be a master auto mechanic to do this either. It's actually a really simple install. Shouldn't take you very long. A couple basic tools is all you need. Unclip a few things on your vehicle, plug the JB4 stuff in, and that's really about it. Okay, so here's what we're going to need. We've got our JB4 harness. Mine does have the Bluetooth adapter thing already connected. I'm not going to do a video on that. There's already videos on it from, I think Burger Motorsports has one on their site. There's, I think, another video out there on the YouTubes. So after I put it together, I don't want to take the thing apart and show you how to do it in a video. It's pretty easy. The most difficult part is actually just getting the weatherproof case open on that thing without dinging it up real bad. So you've got a 10 mil socket here, that's it. A headlamp, so it's easier to see under the hood, and a couple of these little pick tools which help you disconnect the harnesses and stuff under the hood, some electrical tape, and some speed ties. Yes, they are speed ties. Okay, first thing you're going to do is disconnect your battery, and like always, like I've mentioned before in my videos, I disconnect the negative terminal on the battery. I throw a clean dry, this rag's never been used before, throw that in there in between, that way just in case if it ever gets bumped or something happens, it doesn't accidentally connect the battery back up. That's just your little 10 mil socket right there. Loosen it up, and like I've mentioned before, if you wear a wedding ring or a wedding band, take it off. There is a slight possibility that you can arc your ring when you're messing with a car battery. Pop your hood, and you've got this panel that needs to come off, this panel that needs to come off, and then you have your engine cover, and then we can start disconnecting and plugging in the JB4 harness. First, you've got your 3/4 turn little fasteners here, and literally it's just a quarter turn. Once you feel resistance stop, right there, and right there, and then you also have this little pinch connector here, so just pinch this, pull it out, and this thing just comes right out under the molding there. The other side is the exact same thing. You've got your little quarter turn fasteners, so there's 1, 2, and 3, and then pinch that, and pull this out. Now, of note is the way this connects into here. So this tab goes on top of this little space, and the tab that's in there goes underneath the side here. So that's how it goes back in there, just just like this. It's not hard, you'll figure it out. This is the little BMW engine cover, and this thing just pull up on the sides and the front there, and this thing just comes right off, and then set this aside with everything else. Okay, next you've got this little foam piece here that's underneath the engine cover. If it needs to be there, I'm sure there's a good reason, so I'm going to remove it and I'm going to reinstall it. It's really not hard to come out. You just have to wiggle and pull, finagle this thing out of here. There's really only 2 difficult places to get out. One is where this metal piece sticks up in, and you can see where it belongs. There's like a slot for it here, but just pull the rest of this thing out. It's this one's a little beat up from the previous owner. It's already torn a bunch here. Next, we're going to start with the connectors. So I'm going to grab my little pin tool here, and this one at the end of the fuel rail I'm going to put the little pin in there. I'm going to lift up on the tab and then just push this connector off, and it just comes right off. I think you saw that. This one you're going to do the same thing but on the back side. So I'm going to put the tool in the back and lift up, and this thing pulls off. There's that one. And the last one is the on the air. This is the one connected here to the airflow sensor, and it's the same one as the last one you did. So, you know, push on the front, pull the tab up, and I don't know if I can do this one-handed. There you go, and it just pops off. So that's it. Those are the 3 connections that you need to remove on your vehicle. Next, I'm going to grab the JB4 harness. All right, so I got my JB4 harness, and the way that I'm just going to set the box over there for now. And the way that these things, you know, are made, Burger Motorsports did an amazing job. Like, this thing, like, literally amazed me so much because, you know, I've had a couple of Evos that I, you know, fiddled around with, and a little tuning box that connects this easily, and you can do so much with it just by downloading the maps and all that. Like, this thing is amazing, and it's super simple to connect to. So I'm gonna set the camera down real quick. The little brain box from your JB4, I'm gonna tuck this in over here. It's just gonna sit to the side of the little like strut brace that's here. Push the cable like in between the little section of weather stripping here, and I routed mine under this silver line that's here. I don't even know what that is. And the way that this harness is designed, like, all the lines are to the length of where they need to be, you know, on your engine bay. So the first one is the one that's on the end of the fuel rail. So take the plug that you disconnected from the fuel rail. It's going to plug into the long section of the JB4 here, and you can see, like, there's a square end and a round end. So make sure you put A and a B, and they click in place. Then you have the part of the JB4 harness that's going to install. So this just clips onto there, and the little gray piece, make sure you push it forward till it clicks. There's that. Next, you have the one that's on the intake manifold. So you have the vehicle's wire. It's going to plug into the long JB4 harness part, and this should be on the bottom. This should be on the top. That clicks into place. I don't know if you can hear the click, but it did. And same thing, this is just like that one there with this little black thing. It's going to be on the top and clicks into place. Push the little black thing to engage the lock on it. And the last one is not the last one, sorry. The next one is the one on the airflow sensor, which I don't know, we'll see if we can get that in a second here. Okay, so this is where your headlamp will give you a little bit of help seeing where everything is down here. I have the flash on my phone on as well. So here's the factory harness that was removed from the airflow sensor. And just like the others, you've got a JB4 connector that's going to connect into it. That's where those connect. And it clicks into place. Then the other part of the JB4 clicks down into here. And make sure you orient this correctly where this is the top, and it's got the little gray pin just like the other two. So that's clicked into place and the gray thing locked. Pull any slack you need. And the last thing that is the line that connects to the OBD port there. This I routed underneath a few things, and throw it in here between the weather stripping, and I'm going to put it underneath the little bar. If I can do this one-handed. Okay. And I already have it run because I actually already had the JB4 installed. I just wanted to do a video on it, but this is just going to stay right here. The OBD connector that connects into the OBD port in your car. This is the other end of it. This side, you're going to push this through from the inside of the car. That little grommet that's right here at the end of my finger. Skirt! Hold up a second. Some of you may be saying, hey, I've got a hose that runs through there. Well, if your car is a manual, you've got a stick, then you're going to have a hose that runs through that same little plug where I just pushed it through easily. So you're going to have to use a coat hanger. You're going to have to wrap the end of that OBD cable, the plug part. You have to wrap that little piece all up with electrical tape on the coat hanger, and you're going to have to force it through there. It's not going to be easy, but it can be done. It's in the firewall. Pop that grommet out. It's a little hard to get to with your hands, but don't drop it, because if you drop it, it goes into this abyss down here, and the only way to get to that is by, if you can't reach it with anything, you've got to take the wheel off, remove the rear inner fender well lining, and there's like a little cave where you can reach in and grab the thing. I did that. Save yourself the heartache, and please try not to drop that little grommet. But I used a pair of scissors, and with one end I poked a hole in that thing just enough to push this through. So feed it from the inside through the hole in the firewall, which I'll show you in a second, and then through the rubber grommet, and then just route the cable, you know, like underneath the ABS stuff in here. So real quick was the orientation of the JB4 and the OBD cord. So on the JB4, you've got these two, and it's kind of hard to see here. Use my finger as a backdrop. So there's a little tab, this tiny little tab on this side. There's like these little, I don't know, whatever those things are, but the little tab, that's going to be the top part that this locking piece locks onto. So that's it, and it's connected. You know, just giving a light pull, and that's it. So you can see how this is connected now. Cool. I secured my JB4 to the car using these speed ties. I wrapped one in the center around the Bluetooth, and then one on each end. And all I did was wrap it around this strut brace bar that's here. I took the panel that goes over it, you know, made sure I did a test fit on and off to make sure that the JB4 wasn't going to be in the way for this panel to be secured properly. Okay, so inside the car in the footwell, the driver's side here, right here you have this is the OBD cable. This is the part that plugs into the OBD port that runs through the firewall and the grommet that I showed you. There are two 10mm nuts. One of them's right here. The other one is on the other side right here, right there. Loosen those things up. So these are the two nuts. When you remove them, they both have a blue nylon collar in there so they don't come loose. All right, if you don't have any trim tools or anything, an easy way to remove this panel is, you know, undo your adjustable steering wheel, push it all the way up, and then you can reach in here and push this and actually just get it open a little bit, and then just pry this apart. So this comes down, the panel here. Once you get the panel down, you have to unplug the light and the little speaker for the interior, and these just come right out. That's it. And you can just pull the panel out of the car, and you can see underneath here, because my car is an automatic, you can see where the OBD cable runs through up there in that grommet. When you're reinstalling this, sometimes it won't feel like it's going in place, and if it's not going in place, you have to make sure that the bolts that these little nuts go on are, you know, being pushed through where they are in the panel, and that's the easiest way to make sure it goes back in correctly. When you reinstall this panel, when you put it back in, make sure that you tuck this section underneath the section here on your car. All right, when you're done inside the car putting that panel back on, remember you got to get back under the hood because you put your 2 panels back on with the 3/4 turn fasteners each. Throw your BMW engine cover back on, then get back in the trunk and put the ground back on your battery. Before we start playing around with the maps under JB4, make sure you've done your homework and you're using the appropriate map for what mods you already have on your car. And I told you this was a pretty simple install, right? You should feel pretty good if you did this yourself instead of paying somebody else to do it for you. As far as the menu on the JB4 and the dash, I'm going to do another video on that. There are a couple videos out there, but specifically for this M235, it may be slightly different. Hope you liked the video. Once again, hit the like button. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe to my channel. I'm still working on the headlight video. Yes, I'm going to get the headlight video done this week. I promise. Cool? Later. All right, moment of truth. Is this thing even going to start? Did I even do this right? Haha! Yes! Win!